Hey you guys, welcome back to Sara Dalton Coaching. We are going to be doing some content creation in the park today. I'm just getting my visual journals out of my car, and we're going to go over to a picnic bench in the park, and we're going to just flip through some of the art journal pages that I made, non-digital ones, just physical ones, that I made during the month of March during the Art Journal Challenge, and then also since then, some in April, and just some since I found out that my grandma has Alzheimer's, which I shared with you on the life update video that I posted to this channel. So I thought it might be fun for us just to go through some of what I created so that you could see. I didn't share everything online. Some days, there were some days, honestly, that I didn't even post anything. So let me sit you guys down, and myself down, not you. And then let's take a look at some of the stuff that I created during April and May. Okay, so visual journal, Strathmore, really great for watercolors. That's all I used this one for. So let me make sure you guys are at a good angle. So let's see. This one actually I created in 2019. This was the first page in this abandoned watercolor journal. I created this page, like I said, January 2019, under my business art name, Sara Puccini Art. And my husband was like, "That's really ugly, I don't like that." And I was like, okay. And that ended my art journaling for a while. But it's basically a sun and a moon and a sky, like nothing fancy. Okay. And, like anything, not all these are going to make sense. So, this one, and not all of them are dated. This one I think I made in February before the Art Journal Challenge began. I tend to be pretty heavy-handed on the brush strokes, so that's why there's not much there. You can see the paper kind of buckled. So this one is just a flower that I created. This was April 7th, 2022, and then I signed it with my own initials, Sara Dalton. So that's what, if you see SSD, that's what that means. So that was fun. This was sometime in April that I created that. I was working mostly with color and shadow, but I thought it was kind of fun. This page, "If you want to be happy, be," I really like that. It was just a quote. I may have done that before the Art Journal Challenge started as well. Next, let's see. This one was fun. This is for my plant business. I did this as a watercolor journal page, an art journal page, but this is a lady slipper orchid. Sometimes they're called Paphiopedilums or Phragmipediums, and basically the shape of the flower looks like a lady slipper, like a ballet slipper. So not the greatest work of art there, but it was just fun. And then I actually have one in my collection that looks like this, with the kind of the pineapple looking leaves, and then just potted in like a bark mix. So that was that. So as you can see, like, this isn't all great art, and not all of it is signed and dated either. This is just a boat on the shore. Like, the shadows aren't great, so that's why it looks like it's floating on top of the water. And then there's a bunch of water. Don't remember what I was going for that day, but just pretty. This was also not signed or dated. These were definitely during March. Not sure what. I think I was playing with the strokes of just getting to know like how to use the watercolor brush. So I really started here with like stippling with the different colors and the palette that I had. So the water brush to go on the strokes. On this one, I was practicing squashing the watercolor brush and then swirling it around. That's why you see these different shapes in there. And then you can start to see like the different stippling techniques that I've used later on. So, but I'm getting better with, you can see like the paper doesn't buckle quite as much. This I may have posted, I don't honestly remember, but this was just a quote, "You've got this." I had a trainer that used to say that to me. He'd be like, "You've got this," and I really liked that. So I always keep that in the back of my mind whenever I'm struggling or having a hard time. It's just, "You've got this." I always say that to myself. And just some calligraphy lines and stuff like that. This was basically an abstract flower. Don't really have much to say other than I was just practicing with the different colors and then the stippling effects. So I discovered that I have a hard time, like when the paper's wide like this, I have a hard time like just staying in the middle. Like I always paint to the edges, and I'm not sure that that's always the best thing, but who knows. Let's go to the next one. This one, I know I posted this online. The prompt for that day was Candyscape. And yeah, you can see the date is, what does that say? Okay, March 8th, 2022. So I posted that. That was the Candyscape. I did a watercolor wash background, and then I inked in and hand drew the letters and then all the different pieces of candy. So that was definitely a fun one. This, let's see. I don't really know. I think it was probably started for like a St. Patrick's Day kind of thing, and then it just veered off into something very abstract. I do notice that my stuff does tend to come out kind of abstract for the most part, so. Oh, I can't remember the prompt for the day, but this was just, I was playing around with negative space. So it was probably Balloonscape. So I was playing around with negative space in the balloon, and then just practicing painting lines in the background with the or around the object to fill in the negative space with the different colors in the palette. So that was March 11th. This was op art. Hold on, I have 2 posts for that. One was, I think they're both hearts. So that was one. These aren't dated, and I don't have the schedule with me on hand. So those were my attempts at op art. I believe we were pretty busy that day, so I didn't post that. I don't know why other than that. I think this was just one I drew in. I know I was practicing perspective. So in drawing the house, it didn't turn out very well, but it's not too bad. Like I painted the wash on with watercolor, and then I drew in the everything else with ink and tried to do it in 2-point perspective. Okay, so here's where we left off on the camera. So I'll go back in time. So we've switched perspectives. I'm gonna hold it up for you. That way you can see me and hear me talk. This one was inspired by Chihuly, the prompt for that day. I have this one, and I have one other one. This was based off of a photo that I took at the Denver Botanic Gardens when Chihuly's exhibit was there in 2014. and sorry, there are bugs outside, and you can see it's water and then a sun, kind of an abstract sun, and then you've got these sorry, I have bugs on me and I absolutely hate that. There are these like glass balls in this boat that was floating along this like not fake river, but fake little body of water in the botanic garden, so a little fake creek, if you will. So that's what that was. And the Chihuly piece that I posted was actually, I did it in Procreate. This is just a house, and I was practicing my perspective, like 2-point perspective to vanishing line, and let's see, this is just a house, nothing exciting like the inside of a house, me trying to practice. This was practicing 1-point perspective. And then, so some of these are just me practicing drawing. This is another Chihuly inspired one, and I threw in the house too, just for fun, to practice that. One thing that I discovered was that I would do a lot of, I would come to the water journal and I would paint first, like paint just for some inspiration, kind of to get my thoughts out, and then I would produce the piece of art that I posted on social media on my iPad Pro and Procreate. So you can use anything for a digital or for an art journal. It doesn't have to be a watercolor journal. It could be a notebook or a sketchbook, or you could use your iPad, or you could just take photos. Like, it's totally up to you how you want to do. This was just, I don't know what this was. It was, I think, just me practicing like stippling lines in. And then I think that's the last page. This looks like it was April 14th, and that's the last page of that journal. So anything that I created for like inspiration was in this journal, and I liked the watercolor journaling so much. I know I shared with you, like I did when I first bought this, I did this one page and my husband thought it was ugly. So don't show your art to other people if you don't want to be, if you don't want their opinion, even if you don't ask for it. So now this continues into April. Let me check this just to make sure I don't have anything inappropriate in here. No, but I have quite a bit of pages, so in more than I thought. So in April, I continued art journaling, even though the challenge, or the club, I took that down and the challenge was over, because I really enjoyed it. So this was April 9th. It's kind of a sketch of another sketch I did a couple years ago, except this is in pen. The sketch I did before was in pencil. So I did another wash in the background with the paint, and then I inked in, like, I was practicing drawing a tree and people, and then you can see the house again for practicing perspective there, 2-point. So this was supposed to be a jellyfish, but it doesn't look like one. So, and I have no date on that. I do know, so I don't think I finished my story on this. I liked these art journals so much, these little Strathmore Visual Journals, that I ordered more from Amazon. I ordered, I think like 2 or 3 smaller ones, and then I ordered 3 big ones. So they sell like a larger size as well. I don't know the dimensions, but it's more like paper size. So, because I had so much fun, and then I ordered like a bigger container of paint that had more colors and some metallics and stuff in it, some sparkles. So I had fun. I've been having fun working with like a bigger paint palette and just continuing with the water brush. So it's basically like what I had before, just a bigger version. But I haven't gone to the bigger watercolor journal yet in any meaningful way. I've done like 2 paintings in there, but I didn't bring them with me, so that's why you're not going to see them in this video. Because these are small and portable, and I wanted to get out and create in the park today. despite the bugs, and I thought it would be fun to go over these paintings in the park and just do like a sit down fun video of what I came up with before, during, and because in this one, some of these were before the journal challenge actually started. They were like in late February. This one was me just practicing. It was just different washes of color, like a color study. We talked about one of the other people that did the full challenge. I can't remember the name of the artist that they liked, but they mentioned their favorite artist, like Jennifer Leanne or something, and she did some color studies. So that was kind of the inspiration for this, was getting to know the new color palette, and also just having fun creating kind of not really a color study, but it's very similar to the piece I posted on Instagram for that, so of the color study that I did. And that was in all purple, I think, on Procreate. So, and it's funny because I haven't really done much with Procreate since then. I've mostly been creating content, vlogging, blogging, video journaling, and art journaling. So, like in my off time. So, this was April 14th. It's a heart and a flower. I used to create this shape a lot when I did Zentangle. And it's funny how I've gotten away from that. Like, you can still see I do some inking stuff, but I incorporate more the Zentangle now, like the old style that I used to do. And I do it with the paints now, like with the stippling effect and stuff like that. I've gone from more all black and white into color. So that's kind of fun, watching my art journey evolve. So, and it did evolve during the art journal challenge, which is cool. I don't know what this was. I think I started practicing with like letters or strokes or something with the watercolor brush, and then tried to create a flower, and it just, I don't know. I don't really like how it turned out, but I was messing around with the new colors in the bigger color palette. Oh, this was fun. Let's see. This was April 17th. So I created the flower first, just very light background, trying not to fill in with like so much, and the flower turned out really cool. But then the next day I went back in and I filled in with these like really thick leaves, and I didn't like it as much. I liked it before when it was just the minimal kind of flower, but I wanted to add some green, and then I think I just kind of went over the top and was too heavy-handed with the brush. I didn't stipple it in, so. But it does give some contrast between the flower and the leaves, so there is that, so. Oh, this was, so, let me see. This was like the day if you're looking for like context in time, this is the day before I found out about my grandma having Alzheimer's. And then I remember doing this. This is like all I was able to do the day. This wasn't the day after, it was a little bit beyond that, but I went upstairs and I needed a break because I'd been feeling really down, and I just stippled with my watercolor brush just circles, just like small circles, and then it became this one big kind of mosaic style circle with different colors. So that was like mentally all I had that day, and that's what made it onto the art journal page. But it helped me. This is the first one I did, and I think it really helped take my mind off of things. So this was another one I did. It says, "Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, 4 grams, sorry about the train, and then love, Sara." And I remember her favorite song is, since she's still with us, "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" from, oh geez, The Wizard of Oz. So I been doing a lot of stippling with a rainbow, and then I did a quote from the song, and then after I made this, my husband was sitting next to me, and it was the first time I actually like cried after I found out. Just like just melted down. So, but it was also really therapeutic to do this piece. So there's that. So yeah, it's hard. Just knowing that she's gone and like somebody reset her, it's so sad. So, and then this was the 28th of April. So it's just a flower, more stippling. See how I go to like the sides though? Like I have a hard time staying in the center. I like to fill the whole page. This is just stippling with some abstract shapes. This was April 28th. Still feeling down, but yeah. Some days were good, some days weren't so good. This was April 30th. More abstract shapes and stippling. Just having fun with different colors. More stippling, sideways stippling. That was May 1st. Let's see. And then we get to some random ones, just blobs of color. Just practicing kind of, I guess, movement on the page. I don't really know. Yeah, this one too, May 1st. Sometimes when I'm not feeling very working on like artistic stuff, like practicing art, then I just do like these random weird, lines and circles and shapes and stuff. Just sometimes it feels good just to do something and then versus nothing, and then I practice trying to like frame it with some red. So and then you'll see a lot more like that, more stippling. Here I started practicing with the watercolor brush, like with pressure, like making these different shapes, and I like how this one turned out with the different colors. So that was fun. That was I didn't sign all these. Oh no, May 2nd. This one, more of kind of that, you can see practicing with the different shapes, May 3rd. And then this one says Bloom and Grow on it, from my favorite movie, The Sound of Music, Bloom and Grow Forever, the Edelweiss song. That was May 6th. And I think that's it. Oh no, one more. Brings us pretty close to current. May 9th, just kind of a random something in the center and then kind of a flowery shape kind of thing. So that's it. Those are my, like you can see next page is blank, but I have like I go through these so fast. Like this has 1, 2, 3, this has like 4 more pages and then I'll be ready to start the next one. So one thing I really struggle with is like, what do you do with these when you're done with them? I always struggle with like having extra stuff around the house because I don't know what to do with it. And that's one of the benefits of creating digitally, is that you always have the option of just, you have the files on your computer or your iPad and they're stored in the cloud, and you don't have to worry about what to do with them, because you can just keep them and they're not taking up a lot of space in your house, which I like. I don't like having a lot of clutter. So like stuff like this, we're just heading back to the car, but stuff like this is like, it's hard because it's like I don't really want to get rid of it, but I don't really know what to do with it. And yeah, I can look back in time and look back and see what I created, but it's like that's when I start to approach it with the entrepreneurial mindset that I seem to have of like, oh, maybe I can make it into a business and sell it. And sometimes that creates too many businesses and that creates too many problems. So I don't know if you know or you have an idea of what you can do aside from just keeping them and looking back on them for inspiration. Let me know in the comments. Comment below and give me some inspiration, because I sure could use it for what to do with physical art that you can't really sell. Like, do you just throw it away? That's like stuff that's not very good, or do you just keep it on a shelf? That's like with being a minimalist, like I hate having the clutter, but you know, I wind up with like a lot of clutter, like doing, like if you do a lot of art or things like that, or having plants, it creates clutter. So always looking for ideas for what to do with that. So comment below and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it kind of links in with the video I did about the life update and the content going forward on this channel. I think it's this video was a nice bridge so that you could kind of see, like, I said I was going to talk about art journaling as kind of a modality, but not necessarily talk about tutorials specifically. So this is one example of kind of like what I was talking about. I always knew I wanted to do a flip through of the stuff that I created, at least in my physical journal. We can do an iPad one too, but that one was more important for me because that's where I found a lot of inspiration for the posts before I actually did the post. So was created on my iPad. I would go to my journal and just kind of do something to get the creative juices flowing there before I actually, you know, created the final piece and then posted it to social media. So I hope that was helpful for you, and I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye. And comment, let's see, what should you comment? Comment art journaling below if you're still here at the end of the video. Bye.